Britain is facing a major political upheaval. Angela Rayner has resigned as deputy leader of the Labour Party, exposing deep divisions and a crisis of confidence. This comes as Nigel Farage's Reform UK delivers a stunning blow in the 2025 local elections, seizing control of 10 county councils and over 700 council seats. Once dismissed as fringe, Reform has tapped into public frustration, attracting disillusioned Labour and Tory voters with its populist message. Labour under Keir Starmer now faces intense pressure to redefine its direction. The rise of Reform UK signals a dramatic shift in British politics, challenging the two-party system and reshaping the political landscape in real time. Reform UK's rise has shaken British politics to its core with major wins in traditional heartlands like Staffordshire, Kent, and Lincolnshire. But the real shock came with a historic narrow victory in the parliamentary seat of Runcorn and Helsby. A seismic moment that signalled deep voter discontent. While the Conservatives scrambled for damage control, Labour was left in disarray. Within 24 hours, Angela Rayner resigned as deputy leader, dropping a political bombshell. Her scathing resignation letter didn't hold back. "The voters aren't the problem," she wrote. "The problem is us. We stopped listening. We stopped caring. And now we're paying the price. Reform didn't steal our voters. We gave them away." It was less a resignation and more a funeral speech for Labour's soul. Her resignation was more than personal. It was a reckoning. In her letter, leaked before Labour HQ could react, she declared, "The party no longer speaks for working people, but at them, hidden behind consultants, spin doctors, and an out-of-ouch leadership." Within minutes, Rayner resigns trended as Reform UK supporters celebrated. But this wasn't about one exit. It was about Keir Starmer's hollow leadership. Once seen as Labour's last real connection to working-class Britain, Rayner had been sidelined and silenced. Her authenticity reduced to branding. The straight-talking Stockport voice meant to anchor the party became a prop. Labour now feels detached from those it claims to represent, losing not just members, but meaning. And the public is noticing. Angela Rayner saw the collapse coming months ago. She warned that the Red Wall was cracking again, that Nigel Farage was speaking a language working people understood while Labour mumbled in riddles and focus group jargon. But Starmer didn't listen. Now Labour is burning and Rayner has walked out, leaving a political grenade in her wake. Outside Parliament in an impromptu speech flanked by reporters, she didn't hold back. "I didn't come into politics to help millionaires feel better about themselves. I came to fight for the people who've been kicked down, priced out, and forgotten. That's not what this party does anymore. And I won't be part of the lie." The shockwaves were immediate. Labour voters cheered. Labour MPs scrambled. Tory MPs grinned uneasily. And Farage, he called it the first honest thing I've heard from Labour in 10 years. Because here's the truth. Reform UK's explosive rise isn't the end of a story. It's the start of something bigger, messier, and more dangerous for Labour's future. Farage has done what the political class never thought possible. He's broken the illusion that power must always belong to the same two parties. Now that the dam has cracked, the flood is coming. Angela Rayner's resignation isn't just a protest. It's a warning shot. Even inside Labour, there's growing recognition that the old game is over. The public isn't buying the slogans anymore. People are hungry for something real. If Labour won't offer it, Reform will. But the real twist, Rayner might not be finished. Rumours are swirling that she's been in quiet talks with disillusioned union leaders and former Labour MPs about launching a new left-wing populist movement, one that listens to working people instead of lecturing them. Some even say collaboration with Reform on shared issues isn't off the table. What seemed impossible is now within reach. The political ground is shifting fast, and Rayner may just be at the center of the next earthquake. Angela Rayner's resignation from Labour wasn't just a departure. It was a realignment. By walking away from the party, she rejoined something more powerful: the people. Rayner saw the writing on the wall while others in Westminster ignored it. She recognized that Nigel Farage was tapping into a wave of working-class fury, and that Keir Starmer's refusal to acknowledge it would only lead to disaster. You either ride that wave or you drown beneath it. Rayner chose to act, and now everything is changing. The old political order is collapsing and the people are rising. If the working class left and populist right realize they've both been lied to by the same political machine for decades, it could be game over for Labour and the Tories. The only question now is who's next. Rayner's resignation is just the beginning. The political landscape is shifting and the rise of a new Britain may be inevitable. The storm has already started. Angela Rayner's resignation came amid the political aftershocks of Reform UK's dramatic surge in the 2025 local elections. It wasn't a fluke. It was a revolution in slow motion, now accelerating. Calls for Keir Starmer to listen to the public came not only from critics, but from within Labour itself. Ross Jones, a veteran Labour mayor in Doncaster, barely held on to her seat against a strong challenge from Reform UK. In her victory speech, she warned, "Reconnect with ordinary people or risk irrelevance." This came after one of the most stunning nights in British electoral history. With Reform UK's, the people had spoken and the system was shaking. The revolution was no longer a distant dream. It was happening now. Reform UK's high-profile victories included a decisive win in the Greater Lincolnshire mayoral race. Andrea Jenkins, a former Conservative MP and key figure in the party's Brexit wing, dealt a major blow to her old political home, winning the newly created mayoralty with a lead of over 40,000 votes. This victory gave Reform control over a $24 million annual budget and influence in areas like transport, education, and economic development for a region of over 4 million people. Jenkins's victory speech was fiery and combative. She accused her Conservative opponents of resorting to smear campaigns, dirty tricks, and even involving the police against her. She also slammed the hypocrisy of critics who called her an outsider despite themselves coming from outside the community. Her speech was so polarizing that several candidates sharing the stage walked off in protest, leaving Jenkins to speak alone. This powerful symbolism emphasized the moment. Jenkins stood alone, but she had won. Andrea Jenkins' platform was clear-cut populism, attacking government inefficiency and opposing housing asylum seekers in hotels. She controversially suggested that tents like those used in parts of France would suffice. She also vowed to bring Doge Lincolnshire to life, referencing Elon Musk's ideas on streamlined governance and using tech-driven buzzwords to appeal to anti-establishment voters. Her slogan, "No to Net Zero Madness," resonated with voters frustrated by costly green policies and disillusioned by Westminster's climate rhetoric. Reform UK replicated this success nationwide. In Staffordshire, Farage celebrated after the party won 49 out of 62 council seats. Janine's populist message was catching on, forcing the political establishment to take notice. Reform UK crushed the Conservatives, who secured only 10 seats. In Kent, easily surpassing the threshold for a council majority with 45 seats. In Lincolnshire, Reform surged from 3 to 44 seats, while the Conservatives plummeted from 54 to just 14. In Durham, a former Labour stronghold, Reform took control of the council with Labour's group leader Carl Marshall losing his seat, symbolising the collapse of the old left-wing power structure in the north. Former Olympic boxer Luke Campbell also made a strong showing for Reform in the Hull and East Yorkshire mayoral race, expanding the party's reach. In Doncaster, Ross Jones barely held her seat by fewer than 700 votes, but directly condemned National Labour, signalling growing dissatisfaction with the party's leadership and policies. Under Starmer's leadership, Ross Jones criticised Labour's proposed changes to the winter fuel allowance, warning that vulnerable people could be left cold. She also slammed increases in employer national insurance contributions, arguing they were suffocating small businesses and making it harder for them to survive. Additionally, she condemned planned reductions in personal independence payments, PIP, stating that the changes were causing significant distress and hardship across Doncaster. Jones wasn't just speaking as a local mayor. She was echoing warnings from Angela Rayner, who had been sounding the alarm for months about Labour's disconnect from its working-class base. Rayner had warned that ordinary people were being abandoned and that Labour's focus had shifted away from those it once represented. She also pointed out that while Nigel Farage had his controversies, he was speaking in a language that resonated with the public, particularly those disillusioned by Labour's growing distance from their needs. Before we wrap up, if you found today's content useful, don't forget to like, share, and leave your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next.